It's easier for me because I was a defender, so I'm used to see the field from a different perspective, and that helps a lot because I see the entire field. Being defensive, it's allowing yourself to be more.
What's going on, everybody? So on today's show, we're going live via Zoom. Well, it's not live, it's pre-recorded, but it's Zoom with Emmanuele Sembroni. Did I say that right, Manny?
Yes, you said that right, Chris. Thank you so much for having me here. It's a pleasure, and it's always good to see you, brother.
And the accent, you're from Italy, right?
Yes, I am from Italy. I was born and raised in Rome, Italy, the eternal city.
So you're born in Italy, you live in America now. You know, man, we planned a trip to Italy, my wife and myself, and COVID came, canceled the trip, and we haven't rebooked it. I had the whole thing planned. I even got an app like to I forgot the name of that. It's still on my phone. To like plan out my days and all that stuff. And then when COVID came, it was like the flights got canceled, and you had to go and cancel everything else. And but I so badly want to go to Italy. Yeah, I want to hit a bunch of Spain, Italy, all those. But Italy, I just take my wife there. But I will get there. We'll get there soon. Maybe you could be our tour guide.
Oh, that would be my pleasure. That would be my pleasure. Italy is it's a phenomenal country, and if you get to go to my city, Rome, I'll be very pleased to give you some good local accommodation for sure.
Oh no, that's we're there, man. So like growing up in Italy, how's that life living in Italy? Growing up, because I mean it's a big tourist, like a lot of tourism people go there, and I know you see articles or read on the news or hear the news or whatever, and the locals start to complain a little bit because there's too much tourism. How was that like growing up? I mean, was that tourism the same when you were little?
Yes, it's the beauty of my country is that we are made of tourism, right? So that's the number one promoter of economy in our country, outside of food and agriculture. But if I think about my past, it was an amazing experience because I consider myself lucky enough to be born and raised in such an historical city as Rome. And also the other beautiful thing about it is you get to grow with this international mindset based on so many culture that you see every single day coming and visit the city. And this is how I developed my love for the United States and the American dream, because it's a lot of American citizen, a lot of American university, especially in my neighborhood in Trastevere, because this is where I'm from. And that's how I grew up with this Italian and American dream, and then it merged together.
That's amazing. So Rome, the Vatican, that's in Rome, right? The Vatican?
Yes, that is correct.
So you're right there. I mean, was that like, did they open that for everybody for normal church, or I don't, is it open like every day for normal church, or just kind of tourism type thing?
It depends. If you go to the Vatican tour, that's where you gotta buy ticket. You put yourself on a huge line because everybody wants to go. But it's very close for where I'm from, because Trastevere and the Vatican, it's about 15, 20 minutes walking distance. So it's very easily reachable, and it's certainly a phenomenal experience to go and check out.
So like, are all the Italians over there, are most of them part of is that what is that, the Catholic religion? Or is a lot of Catholicism over there, and that's how kind of like what you've seen growing up?
Yes, we have a two predominant type of religion, which is Catholic, and then we got the Jewish religion, which is very big as well, especially in Rome. And then we got also a lot of Muslim, based on the flux of people that come and they follow that type of religion. So it's very different in itself, but it primarily religion of our country is Catholic.
Yeah. So when you were growing up, were you athletic? Were you like a little troublemaker, or were you in church all the time? I mean, what was young Manny? What was he doing?
That's a great question. I was a little bit of everything, right? I come from very humble family. They raised me with great values, being humble, but most of all, be myself, right? So when you grow up, especially in a city like Rome, of course, you got to be a little like vivid, you know, in your character, vibrant as the city. But at the same time, I always nurture myself with strong faith in our Lord Jesus Christ, and also very athletic because, of course, my history speaks itself, and I always had this dream of running with this ball, with this soccer ball, and that's what I was since I was 60 years old. That's how where my passion and dream started.
Since you were 6, you said?
Yes.
So you were little, just playing, what you guys call it, football over there, right? Soccer.
We call it football, we call it soccer, we call it calcio. But I started when I was 6 years old,
Wow.
very little, and I had this dream of become a professional soccer player. And I still remember I was watching the World Cup 1994. Roberto Baggio is missing the penalty, so we lost against Brazil. I go to my father and I tell him, listen, Dad, I'm going to be a soccer player. My dad is looking at me like, what is he talking about? That's how it started. Since then, man, I just, put all my energy into it.
That's amazing. Like, thank God you did that, because there's so many, especially like today, or when you were younger, when I was younger, there's so many other young, I was one of them, that you get caught up in the wrong things, and so, soccer, got to get you on the right direction, on the right path, because you were focused on, on the sport, rather than, friends and girls and dumb things, so thank God you had soccer, right? I mean, like, when you look back, at your childhood, do you like literally thank God and be like, thank God for soccer, because, and your parents and all that stuff, but like, things could have changed, that, the trajectory could have changed for your life, right?
Yes, that is very true. I'm very grateful for the gift from above and the quality that it gave me on pursuing this type of career with sports. At the same time, growing up chasing this dream is not is giving up the normal life, right? It's giving up the ordinary life.
Totally.
In a way, it saves you. We have a saying in Italy that says soccer and sports remove you from the street, right? So it give you like the opportunity to grow in a team environment where you can enhance a lot of qualities such as value people and teamwork more than going out and party and do the ordinary things that you still miss, because you're very young. So if I think about my best, I didn't really experience everything that a normal child experience when he grows.
I think it's a good thing, right? I mean, so, like, say, looking at myself, right? I did a bunch of stupid stuff, right? And it cost me a lot of headache, a lot of, a lot of issues, um, thank God, I grew out of that. But, the early childhood, like into my mid-20s, it caused me a lot of headache and heartache, and everyone else around me caused them heartache, right? So I don't think you missed that on anything. I think you're blessed to be in that situation, to your parents, to keep you focused on something, to keep you off the streets and running around. So that's a huge blessing. So, like, are did you go to like high school and college in Italy?
Yes, so I went to high school in two cities. First, I studied in Rome. Then I was traded for I signed my first professional contract, and I moved to Francavilla al Mare, which is a little town close to Pescara. So I went to high school in Italy at the Visconti School. It was a college for us for athletes and private school. So I was living like a regular college in high school.
Yeah.
And then after that, when I retired, I transitioned to an associate degree in business at Penn State University. And this is where I got to know a little bit more about the US school system.
Yeah, that's amazing that you did go back, you know. What like so we know, you know, you're born in Italy, you live here in America, obviously. What brought you from Italy to America? Was it soccer? Was it like how did that look? You know, because some people, you know, they leave their country for different reasons, right? But like, what brought you here?
Certainly, I was born with the American dream in my blood.
Yeah,
So even before
I
meeting my
I
wife,
can see it
she's
all over you.
well, I love it, man. And I sometimes it's hard to explain, right? But my wife, she's an American Italian citizen. So she was born in Pennsylvania. We met in Rome, and she was working in pharmaceutical for Pfizer. And then right before our marriage, she got a job offer from Pfizer Rome to Pfizer New York. And this is how my American dream started. I said, you know what? I'm gonna retire. I'm gonna start my American dream, and I want to recreate myself. But then, you know, so many dynamics together that brought me back into the US soccer. And this is how I met the New York Cosmos. And this is how my real American dream started.
Wow. So had it not been for your wife, you may not be you may not have come to America. I mean, I'm sure you would have made it, but like that kind of pushed you forward, right, to get here.
Yes, I always traveled in the US, like, you know, as a regular tourist. You know, you come, you visit, you go to the major cities, beautiful. But I guess the really US experience is the one that you actually live on a daily basis. And thanks to my wife and thanks to the opportunity that was presented to her, then we both agreed that there was the perfect time and the right opportunity to for us to come and to actually experience for me what I was always dreaming of, you know, which is like, thank God it worked out.
Yeah, yeah. So you said you came to New York, you went with the Cosmos, but before you came to New York, I know you had a career in Italy. Well, how'd that look like, you know, playing football in Italy, you know, the different teams and I mean, was that an amazing experience or what?
That was a phenomenal experience, and I believe I lived so many different phases of the football evolution of my country. You know, we come from a football school that is one of the best in the world. And I lived many phases, like when Italy was at its prime, and then when Italy like started like dropping down. As you can see, we were not able to qualify recently for the last two World Cup, which is, you know, very painful for Italian people. But when I think about that journey, I couldn't feel more fortunate to being able to become a professional football player in my country. Italy is amazing for that, you know, that people breathe football.
Wow. Yeah, I bet, right? Um, so you were a pro over there. I see your jersey in the back of you. All the time we see her post, like I love it, man. Like that's something to be proud of. You know, not very many people get their names on jerseys of pro teams or country teams or whatever, however that looks. You know, I had to go buy mine and put my name on it. No. But no, it's a blessing. Like that shows, hey, that shows the hard work. Like people don't understand if you just work a little harder, you can get what you want. Yeah, maybe, you know, some things are a little bit further out, you know, you should have started a little earlier, but there, you know, or if we didn't do it, maybe we teach our kids to do it, right? Or our grandchildren to do it. Like these dreams, they're living. The dreams are alive and you can go after them. You just gotta, like you said, you started young, your parents, they understood it, right? And so, like, that's the whole purpose of the podcast of thing. You know, I talk to a lot of people and stuff like that. It's like, come on, guys, like, listen, if I can do it, if Manny's doing it, anyone can do it, you know, and maybe, you know, maybe you're not going to go freaking work for NASA or SpaceX. It's not even, you know, it's barely NASA now, but, you know, but, or go be a lawyer, but you can go be an entrepreneur. You could, you know, if you're young, you could work to being a pro player. Yeah, it's hard. You know, you're going to get your butt whooped and the odds are against you. But listen, the odds are against us in everything we do. just to walk out of your house and not die, the odds are against you, you know, so like, why not live your best life knowing the odds are against you and you're going to, you're playing against the house, right? And we play to win. You know what I mean?
Yes. I love
Um,
it.
so you have no kids, right?
No, we have no kids. No.
Can I ask why you have no kids?
Sure. I can tell you a very inspirational story. So our life has changed, me and my wife, in many ways. So when we got married, we first committed into, the faith of God. And you say, my wife told me, hey, you get all the package. And I was like, okay, I'm all in. And then that in our experience, when I retired, that was a perfect time for us to think about having a family. That was another part when I retired. It's like, oh, wow, now I'm going to be a daddy, right? I don't have to travel anymore. We're going to do this together. So now we started, our process of wanting to be parents. Then what happened is, unfortunately, my wife got some very important health issues. So she got diagnosed with stage 3 brain cancer during this process. So this is the reason why we had to postpone one of our dreams. And this is what our story tells us. Like, it's a fabulous story of come back from the ground and rise back up. And this is why we're here, empowering others to, hey, listen, life will put in front of very difficult situations, but you have the power, you have in control of how you react and how you fight it back. So today we live in our best life together, and hopefully God will bless us with this opportunity as soon as time is a little bit calm.
And her health is good now?
Yes.
Oh man,
She
thank
did a
God.
phenomenal job. I'm very proud of her. She's the best. And she's a very strong inspiration for me to do what I do every single day.
So she came back from brain cancer. That's a story in itself that she needs to tell. Wow. And you stuck by her. Like, I mean, that's inspirational as well. As like, you stuck by her, you stuck through it. You went through you didn't feel the pain, but I'm sure you felt pain, seeing her that way, I mean, I mean, can we talk about that a little bit? Cause some people don't realize like what we actually go through in life. When they see Manny on Instagram or LinkedIn, they're like, oh, that guy's doing really well. But I mean, can you talk about that a little bit? Like, that had to be a trial in itself.
That was the hardest challenge that we both ever faced. The hardest, because you can only be ready. You can prepare yourself for unpredictable. That's what I live and breathe. But when you experience that trauma, you have very, very few seconds of reaction, and you have to react precisely. And for me and Marguerite, that was our testing phase on, strong faith, because the easy thing that can happen to you when you go through these things is like, oh, it's his fault. Why me? And then, like, the first thing that you do, oh, I don't believe in God anymore because this happened to me, right? That's like how you get tempted. Instead, for us, we went the opposite way. We surrounded ourselves with people that they empowered us with strong and positive energy. We cut all the people that they not part of that process, especially in that time. And then we went through our own journey, such as we never missed and never skipped a day of work. We always approached it on, hey, let's keep our life positive. Let's keep our life for how we want it, right? We had two options. And this was one of my mentors I remember this call. I was at our hospital, and that's what he told me. You can sit down at the corner and cry, or you can stand up and show your wife who you are.
Nice.
And that's what I did. And that's what I did, and that's what she did. And that's why today we're talking about phenomenal remission, and God bless her. And she's super strong in her career. She's fantastic. She's an inspiration for everybody, this woman.
I think that's key. What you said though is you focused on what you needed to do, and then you also remove people in your life that didn't have that same focus, you know. And I think that's key for anyone, any part of our lives, you know, when we're going through something, whether we're growing in business or, you know, there's hardship or whatever it is, like your team needs to be just as focused on your victory as you are. I mean, obviously they're not going to go through it, but you want people to have your back, like that are super positive, you know, especially in hardship. Yeah, I understand that. I got rid of, you know, I haven't talked to a lot of people in my life when I started making changes in my life. And because I wanted to be surrounded by people that, will celebrate me, you know, will push me, will tell me, Chris, you know, fix this or do that, or, you know, or just, or going in the same direction. You know what I mean? Like, it's crucial that we're around people that go in the same direction as we're going, which is, you know, to the top, to the mountaintop. um,
That's right. That's right, man.
that's amazing. So these days we see you, you know, you're in the financial services game, and you know, you're talking, you know, all this good stuff that some people don't even understand. How'd you get into, you know, how'd you go from, you know, you're pro player in Italy, you come to New York, your wife drags you to New York, she's like, let's go. Uh, she's the strong one. She's like, let's go. You're gonna listen to me, Manny. Uh, I think most of our wives are really strong, right? Mine is too. Uh,
Yeah.
she, my wife's part of she's the reason why I'm okay. Uh, like I'm doing good. Yeah, it's because of her. Um, but you end up in a Cosmos, and then somehow you end up in the financial services sector. Like how does that transition? How do you go from this athlete to say, I'm going to go into this market? And then what do you like? What are some of the things you do?
This is a great question because that's part of a story that I'm always seeking others to follow and get inspired with, especially my former teammates. I think one of the major reasons that brought me to this type of transition is that I have an unconditional love for people. I truly love people. And during the pandemic, when I retired, I saw many people struggle. The world changed. Our life has changed. I was in New York, then Pennsylvania, then Florida. I saw many gaps when it comes to creating an emergency type of thing that people will need to utilize when they go in catastrophic scenarios, right? So I'm like, this lack of non-preparation brought me to, okay, this is my next mission. I want to empower others in the three aspects of life. So like emotional, spiritual, and financial. And that's why with financial services, that that is the mirror of the mission that and the value that I want to provide to others. I want to be a value creator for others. And what what a greater way to do this in this country.
That's nice. I like the way, like you said, like, so you contact like your old teammates and you're like, hey, let's get our act together. Let's, you know, I'm doing this. This is what I'm learning. Hey, you guys should try it. Do they, what's this like? Are they listening to you? Are they kind of like, yeah, whatever, Manny?
No, it was an amazing process of recreation because it's not only about you recreating yourself, also the people that know you.
Hmm.
Now they have a different image of you. I'm like, oh, so they don't recognize their image. It's like, hey, listen, dude, we've been in the locker room together. You were since the other day, you were the guy that was pushing me in the field, and myself are like, hey, listen, the same way that I was pushing you in the football field, it can be into another field. And guess what? One day, all these beautiful things that you see with sports, it will be gone, and it will be you versus you. So what a better way to do it with somebody that experienced that have been there in the same locker room with you and empower you to take action when time comes.
Yeah.
I think that answered itself.
No, I like the way you said that is from one field to another field. Like, and you're still like, let's go as a team. Like I'm here to, you know, if you want the help and want me to push you, I'm here. Right. Do you find like, I know when I try to help people, and I'm not, I'm not the biggest entrepreneur there is. I'm doing okay, right? Um, maybe I'm doing better than okay, but compared to some, I'm doing nothing. But but sometimes, like, I try to mentor some people close to us, and sometimes, or they'll ask me for advice, and then they just don't take it, they don't listen, and they'll ask me the same question 32 times. Um, do you find, like, do you see the same thing happening in your life as you're making these transitions? Some people are asking you, but they don't quite get it yet, or maybe they're not prepared for those answers yet. Or do you see that same thing?
Yes, and this is going to be something that is going to be helpful for myself to hear, yourself to hear, anybody that's going to hear about this. The thing that I had to learn as fast as possible is this: that is never about my own timing, it's about people's timing. And that's the hardest thing to understand. Because if you care about others, you start wondering, why are they not taking action yet? Or what did I say that they didn't got into this person, right? Hey, but 99.9%, it's not about you. It's about them, right? So that's the shift on mindset that I had to go through. And then I learned about it and say, hey, I'm still gonna bring this additional value to others. Whenever it's the right time for them, I am sure that they will remember our conversation and say, oh, Manny told me, so boom, now it's time for me to execute, right? Everybody goes at a different speed. And it's hard to go at that speed because I'm like, boom, 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 let's go. But that's Manny. So put Manny on the bench, and now the player that are in the field, that the actual one that make the goal, right?
Yeah.
So I had to shift my mindset from player to coach.
I like that. I like the way you said that, because sometimes I know in the past, I've gotten frustrated when I try to show someone something or teach them, they don't listen, they don't, and now I'm learning, like, okay, they're just not ready for it yet. But I think most people, we internalize it. So no matter what, in the Bible, it's like subconscious, right? Like, it goes inside of us. And the same way you use sports and stuff, I use construction, and I like to say, like, it's a toolbox, right? It's going in at some point, God willing, you get to pull out those tools and use them. You know what I mean? We just got to learn when to use them and how to use them, right? And so we're banking all this stuff. I love the way, because you started going into it. I love the way, when you do your podcast and and all your stuff on social media, is how you integrate business into sports. You're always using a sports analogy, and I'm like, it's perfect for you because you understand the game, and so you're always using. And I think we need more of that too, as people, like, I try to use construction, but a lot of people don't use what they, maybe their past field, to integrate that with their current field of choice, whatever it is they're doing in life. Like, was that something that came natural, integrating the sports talk into what, or was someone like, no, do it this way, or do people give you a hard time for doing that?
Chris, that's a great point, because I learned another thing, that you need to surround yourself with people that they constantly make you better. They can be a figure as spouse, a coach, a mentor, a teammate, a runmate. Anyone that makes you better is the people that you want to have in your life.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to analogies, when it comes to creating my personal brand, when it comes to creating and utilizing my previous life and transition it to my new identity, I think it's a combination of what I really am, who I was, and the people that they guide me and they make me better, how to present this message to my audience. And that's why people are like, oh my God, this is super cool, because I can get our context and I can make it simple, because, hey, basically we're talking about football, football, sport, teammate, quarterback, basketball, and how we can apply this into the financial world. which makes it easier because, of course, we're not talking about an easy world, right? So my job is to simplify for people so they can execute.
Yeah, I like it. Basically, put it in layman's terms. Yeah, because no, like you said, sometimes it's just when you start talking finances, some people just block it out. Like it's just they're gone. You know, money, finances, strategy. But you start talking game plan, it changes. They went from strategy game. Oh, I understand game plan, right? You know, I love it, man. I totally love it. So you talk strategy, game planning, and the financial sector. You've been doing this for a few years now, right? What, 3, 4 years? How long you been doing it and being in the financial sector now?
I retired at the end of 2020
Okay.
and transitioned into the financial industry in 2021. So I'm writing for my third year, like officially in the business, which I am very excited because, of course, the year 3, this is where they say it's the most complicated one, but I love the challenge, and it's actually really, really good because also my mindset is growing,
Yeah.
and also like the people that I have around are growing too. So it's super exciting.
That's cool. So what are some of the things you do and offer in what you know, because financial services is a small word. It's a broad spectrum, right? It goes all kinds of different directions. What are some things you do? Because I think the audience, you know, some people are looking in what's their next move, right? They're not sure or whatever, but maybe they can get some ideas from you. So what exactly do you do?
Great question. So as a defender myself in football, I'm the defense guy. So I am passionate in specializing in risk management and insurance strategies. I do it for small business owners, for professional athletes, and for their families. My goal is to provide them with the tools in order for them to anticipate the unpredictable, because anticipation is a gift that if you're able to master, it positions you in a better scenario when that unpredictable comes, right?
Yeah.
And I do it protecting my clients' lives, their income, and their long-term care needs. And this is my passion.
Yeah. So is that like
My story can tell you.
no, I know. No, it's totally cool. Is this like life insurance? Is this mutual funds? What are you allowed to talk about that?
This is life protection. Yes, life protection, income protection, and long-term care needs.
Yeah, I like it. I've been learning a lot about that space just because of from my you know, I got to retire the right way. I will never let me take that back. I would never retire, right? I tell people in the Bible, I go in the Bible, nobody retired. I mean, nobody retired in the Bible. They were like, "Oh, I'm done. At 55, I'm 70." No, they just keep going till they're dead. Like it's your land. You take care of your land. You keep going, right? You know, and some people's land is greater than others, so then they got to go a little more, right? But I want to, I'm right, you know, I'm working on strategies that way when I am older and start slowing down, that I have income coming in, and that way I have stuff, you know, I have children, so stuff to leave to my children, right? Or if we want to do certain things, you need income, you need money to do anything, right? So I'm learning a lot. You know, I set up a couple of policies and different things that, and then not only with the policies, you know, I had to get into doing a living trust and a living will and a trust. That's a lot of work. But I love it because it does help people in that financial world because there's so many people that are financially illiterate. And some people know a little more than others, right? But you do have to protect yourself from a defensive mindset of worst case scenario. What if, especially small business owners like yourself, I mean, or not yourself, but like your clients. So like, because what if, so I think for myself, it's the same thing as I set up, I got 3 policies. And it's like, if I go, my wife can pay everything off and just kind of, she don't have that crazy stress if I go before her, right? And that's kind of the defense. It's some people are like, well, why are you thinking about dying? Well, because it's gonna happen, and I want to be a little bit prepared for when it happens. You know what I mean? Do you think like when as you're learning more about this and getting really good at it, Do you see enough people are not prepared with a defensive mindset for like a worst case scenario or stuff like that? Do you see that a lot?
It depends. It depends. There are many components when it comes to making good choices for
Yeah.
your life. And it could be your background, it could be old family belief, it could be overcoming the influence of the people around you, could be friends, right? Many times you see, hey, because my friends are doing that, I'm gonna do it too. But the situation, the life, the also the story is completely different, right? So it might work for them, it might not work for you. So this is like the biggest challenge that I see. It's like, hey, how do I decentralize myself and I actually focus on what is good for me and my next generation? And my mission is to empower people with execution so they take care of the legacy and the next generation, they're going to be all right because of just one choice. And that's another thing. Think about, what we've been through in our household. It's more about, hey, imagine if I wouldn't transition to financial services. Imagine if I wouldn't prepare my wife, or imagine if my wife wouldn't trust us to prepare her. Like, hey, what are my wife and my options, right? So my story is the testament of how anticipation is better than recovery, because recovery is harder.
Big time. Yeah, you get caught off site. Well, in sports, right? You get hit blindsided. That hurts, right? It takes you out of the game. But if you anticipate the hit, you're able to take an impact and kind of get that shoulder or whatever sport it is, right? But yeah, totally.
Yeah.
See, I try to use a sports analogy because it's true though. You get blindsided, it hurts. I used to do boxing when I was younger, and I've gotten a lot of street fights. And you get sucker punched or something, and you're not looking. That's when the damage happens. Or I watch a lot of MMA, right? When they all say it, the punches and kicks that hurt are the ones they don't know it's coming, right? And that's the same thing in life, right? The damage that hurts the most is when you don't know it's coming. But if we're preparing for it and we're hiring Manny to help us in our preparation, it becomes a defensive mindset, right?
And Chris, the other thing is this, and it's easier for me because I was a defender, so I'm used to see the field from a different perspective, and that helps a lot because I see the entire field. So being defensive, it's allowing yourself to be more offensive, because when I know that the foundation are solid, then I can build a very nice house on top of it. And you in construction, you know what I'm talking about. And for me, I want to be the foundation, same as people and faith. That's the foundation of your life.
Mm-hmm.
And in what I do, I'm the foundation of people. Now, go out there and have fun and do the fun stuff, right?
Yeah.
But hey, your family sleep good at night. Hey, you too.
I like it. The foundation is crucial. When we built the house, and I've told this story before, but before we poured the concrete of the pad, we put a Bible in the box and buried it under right when you walk in the door. And the mindset was we wanted the foundation in our foundation. And, so we had to have a strong foundation in everything. And that even having a spiritual foundation is a defensive mindset, because we get those biblical keys, those principles that teach us what not to do. Right? I mean,
Yes.
It's crucial. I love this. I'm going to start watching you more. I need to be more defensive. I like it. No. And you know what? It reminds you, like, back to fighting is, did you ever watch Floyd Mayweather box?
Mamma mia.
Yeah, but he was defensive. And the reason why he was able to beat everybody, and people can say whatever they want about him, but he didn't get hit because he shoulder roll and he would move. That's all his defense. he had the greatest defense, which allowed him to execute his offense. And that's what you're saying, right? I
Yes.
love it. I love it. I love it. See, everybody's watching. You guys need to work on your defensive strategies, right? So you help implement game plans, strategies, whatever part of their, depending on where they're at in their life, what their needs are, right? What their financial capabilities are, because every structure is different depending on, what your needs are, right? Like if you have, say if you're worth, 4 million or 10 million, that need is different. Am I right?
Yes, it's I have a very good analogy on that, and of course, come from sport, right? And if you think about the different divisions of professional sports, let's say soccer, let's get into the Italian soccer now, right?
Yeah.
So you have fourth division, third division, second division, first division, right? So every division, you play a different game level.
Yeah.
The
Totally.
thing can be said with your life and what you do with your choices when it comes to finances. So the tools are different in every level that you play with. So that's why it cannot be one size fits all, right? It has to be one size fits one. As Will Guidara will say in a visible hospitality.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Right. He's good. So that makes sense though, because you hear a lot of people like, oh, that guy got a $1 million policy. I should get one. Well, maybe you don't need a 1 million. Maybe you need 500. Maybe you need 4 million. Right. And I think people tend to copy people, because they're not, they're not, well versed in what they actually need, and they haven't, found someone like yourself that's the professional, to help them get in that direction. Because like you said, you don't want to copy someone and your defensive game is lackluster and you're caught off guard, right? You're not, so I remember like, when I bought this building I'm in, the bank made me get a policy. Oh man, I forgot like a dead man. I forgot what it's called. There's a name for it, but basically like if I die, the portion of the loan would get paid off. That's a defensive strategy for the bank, right? But I forget, it's a key man policy. I think is what it's called, key man. And do you guys do those? No, you don't. Do you do those? Oh, you do key man policies. Yeah. So that's we have to be prepared, But like you said, it's like just because I got my policy for the key man was one valuation doesn't mean the next guy's is the same, right? And I think we need to understand, like you said, we're at different levels. Everyone's at a different level in their life, where they're at, what they're doing, what their exposure is too, right? Because you can be exposed the more heavy, like, maybe like you're less exposed than the next guy because their career is freaking skydiving or some crazy thing or whatever. You know what I mean? So I think that's crucial too, right? Exposure. So
Yes.
like you go into financial, I think you're changing the game, because I think like the way you're presenting it is different. You hear all kinds of people talking about financial game and it's so boring. It's hard to even listen to like 7 words. Yeah. Right? Am I right? I mean, tell me the truth.
It's a very beautiful and articulated word. So simplicity. If this is what it makes me. If you ask me, man, what makes you stand out? Simplicity. I'm not trying to change or disrupt any type of things, but what I'm trying to do is just like, hey, the higher your level of understanding what you're doing is, the better the outcome for you when it comes, okay, now I know what works for me in my life and how to execute. So like if you break it down into simplicity and baby steps, sure. That's what we're all looking for, right? It's like, hey, if you come to me and talking about football, like, American football, and I come from Italian football. I won't understand a single thing you're telling me, but if you break it down into, okay, this is what happens in this part of the field, and this is how we act together. When we go to this part of the field, that's what we do, and this is how we finalize it, right? So that's the same thing that anything that you can do, life, finance, business, you have to go for small wins, compound them, and let them work for you.
I like that. Go for small wins because those stack. You got to stack those, right? Like you said, you're compounding, you're stacking them. They turn into a big win. Every big win's a small win, right? Even in like when you won a game, it was all those little wins in practice, on your own time, training, sport, rehabbing, all that stuff. Those are all small wins.
That's the unseen. That's the unseen of sports. And I am glad that they're showing it more and more in TV shows and Netflix. And they show like what happens inside, also if it's just like a small part. But at least you want to see the unseen, because the unseen is where the magic happens, right? It's not like the game itself is the final product of the hard work, the right tactics, the right people, the right play. So it's a combination of everything. But the other 7 days that you're preparing for that game, this is where like you build. And that's why for an athlete, it comes natural, because I grew up like that my entire life. Every day, it's 0-0. I cannot start tomorrow that I'm winning the game 3-0. No, it's 0-0 every time. It doesn't matter how good I played the previous game. If I go back tomorrow and I suck, hey, guess what? I lose the game, 0-0. So that's how I approach my things, and I try to pass it to my beautiful people out there.
I love it. So other people that are watching and they want to get into the financial space, how do they get in? I mean, do they call you? Do they, like, do you bring in people? How does that work? Because there's a lot of people that don't know. I know several people that want to get in it, and they're clueless on how to, and I can't give them the answer.
Yes, I can answer this question with my example, right? When always passionate about, personal finances, always passionate about helping others, always passionate about, hey, I want to see other winning with me. So when you have these type of feelings inside, then you might be a fit for the financial world, because that's what we truly do, right? Now, how do you take the first step? That is up to you. What I did is I spoke with so many different organizations. I challenged myself to put myself out there, take a lot of no's, but also like understand, hey, this might be a fit for me because I relate with the culture. This one is not going to be a fit because the culture is not there. And that's what led me where I am, because I embrace the same culture. And that's what I empower people to do. If you don't know, discover, take the first step, and ask people that they've been through this process. That's how you get in.
I like that you said that is the culture a fit, because I think, you have to know if you fit in, if it's even what you like to do, or, and with the financial strategies, there's all kinds of different implementations of it. And maybe you specialize in one rather than all or whatever. Right. And like you said, is the individuals need to really study on that culture, that mindset. Yeah. Cause just because you see like big companies on social media doesn't mean that it's a right fit for you. Right.
You have to find what you truly identify yourself with. And it's great because you get great trainings, you get great mentors, you get strong entrepreneurs, solopreneur, business owners, teams, and people that you see like how they drove their business from 0 to 100, and then you can embrace that growth. And every single day is a new opportunity to get yourself better, because things are always changing, right?
Yeah.
That's all the beautiful things about it. But at the same time, is it for you? that's something that you can discover yourself. Because for me, it worked out. Maybe for someone else, it won't. But the doors are always open.
So do you feel like since you've been in this game for 3 years now, over 3 years, like your life has changed tremendously for the better? Like you're smarter than ever, you're sharper than ever. Do you feel that way? I mean, I think you look that way.
I think I feel a little bit better than I was yesterday.
Oh,
that's for sure.
Yeah.
And that's my mindset. That's how I approach it every day. Because hey, if you are the smartest in the room, then we got a problem.
Yeah.
It means you are in the wrong room, right? So that's how I see it. And with this type of challenge, profession, and mission that I have the opportunity to get new knowledge every day, to get new information. And then that's what I want to transfer to others, that knowledge and that information so they have it too. It's literally transferring culture and value to other people.
I love it. So these days, what are you reading or watching to learn? Like what podcasts, what books, what, is it radio? What are you doing to learn? Besides the financial world, outside of that, to get that. Yeah.
I love it. So I read a lot. So I read a lot of books. Why do I read a lot of books? Is because they make me better. It's new knowledge, it's free, and it comes from somebody that has been through the journey.
Yeah.
So unbelievable. Now we got PBD, which is like, legendary to me, and God bless him. I follow and listen to Cody Sanchez. She's amazing. And for people that they look into, creating their own, entrepreneurship with business, she's phenomenal. Amazing.
What's the name?
Cody Sanchez.
Corey Sanchez?
Oh, Cody. Sorry about my Italian accent.
Cody? Like CODY?
CODIE. Cody Sanchez.
Okay.
Yep. She's amazing. Andy Elliott has another big story. I think it's like his drive and value are something that you need in life. Sometimes you need to break down to be recreated. So I love that. But when it comes to books, I always choose 3 types of books every single month. So 3 books per month, and different topics. Right?
Yeah.
For example, now I'm reading tax and legal planning because I am obsessed with learning about certain things that apply for me and any other business owners, but just for personal information. I'm reading Walk into Destiny, which is an amazing book for exits and business owners. I love anticipation, so that's a phenomenal one. And I'm reading this month Buy Back Your Time, which talks about delegation. And delegation is something that I can tell you in this industry, I learned it very fast. And that gave me a lot of time to dedicate myself to the activity of production. Which this is something like, very key point.
Yeah.
Delegation.
No, that's true. Delegating stuff, or else you're going to be stuck doing it all the time. And you can only do so much yourself, right? I've said it a lot of times. I'm like, hey, I have, 800 hours a day. And, how do you have that, Chris? Well, because we have 100 employees. That's 8 hours. That's 800 hours. That's how you delegate. That's get more things done, right? And so I love that you said delegate. So those are good. PBD. So PBD, I follow PBD. That's kind of how we got in the same world. The masterminds and all that stuff. I like what he's doing. I like all these. I never heard Cody Sanchez. It's a lady. You said it's a lady. Yeah, I'm gonna check her out. So I like that. So that's a good group of people. I love the fact that you're all about America. You see so many Americans today that hate America for some stupid reason. Like, come on, really, guys. I love the fact, like, I love America as well. We could be better, obviously, right? Hopefully we will become better here soon. But I love that you love America. I love what you're doing. You know, is there any last words, Manny, that you could tell to the audience, to, you know, maybe that young person or older person, but they're trying to make a change in their trajectory of life, in the business, and, you know, maybe their field of work. You know, what's that nugget we could give them?
Mm. I have many, but I want to focus on value creation and pursuit of dreams. Okay, what I can tell youngest generation is your dream is your dream. I see many people killing their dreams just because they get a no or they get rejection from, hey, majority of the time, family members or bad influence around you, right? Bad people, like bad friends, like people that you think like, hey, this guy's the one that's gonna make the difference in my life. But anytime I tell him something, oh, it puts me down. Hey, ask yourself that question: is it really a good person I want in my life? That is something that I would tell people. The sooner you identify and cut out the bad weeds around you, and focus on your own dream. The dream is yours. The work is yours. The life is yours. The next 5, 10 years are yours. You win, you lose, and nobody else around you. So the choice is yours. So you can choose wisely or you can choose poorly. And I choose poorly many times. And this is why I learn how to choose wisely. And that's a process. So fail more to achieve more. That's my biggest advice that I can give you.
I love it. I love it. Your dream is your dream. Everybody watching, your dream is your dream. Don't give it up. Work for it, right? And I love what you said, man. Everyone out there, empower yourself with defensive mindset. Oh my God. Like Manny, it was an honor and a pleasure to have you on the show today. Everybody watching, look for this guy. You're on, I know you're on LinkedIn, you're on Instagram. What else are you on?
Yep. Primarily, I'm on LinkedIn. This is where I post content every day.
Yep.
So Emmanuele Sembroni, you'll find me on LinkedIn, and I post daily content 8 a.m. Monday to Saturday, talking about good stuff.
So everyone, focus on that defensive strategy. Catch us next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe all of our stuff. Be blessed.